Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere, and we're starting with lovely floating hair, because I'm working on the back hair again today. Last time I noticed that, maybe I don't actually have to make the back hair go all the way to the strand like it is in the front. Because I actually think that this looks okay, if I can just, I don't know, make this edge here less wrinkly and weird looking. I said that was something I wanted to revisit today, and I also wanted to do the shadows from the hair today. So I guess I'll start with trying to get this back hair looking good. Fortunately, I was having a pretty easy time of it yesterday, just those little spots in the end, man. I can tell that when I cut this out, I was just intending for it, to be covered up by that strand the entire time, so might have to pull a shenanigan or two. But I've probably got a couple of shenanigans in me today, so let's see what happens. Not sure if I'll ever be able to get that perfectly smooth, but honestly, as long as it's good enough, it should be fine. As always, the part that I have a little bit of trouble with this back hair, this highlight. The highlight that hangs out with the hair strand from hell. I'm sure they are best friends. Just looking for new and exciting ways to troll me while I try to rig this. So I'll probably go back and forth and kind of see how all this is kind of supposed to be. This is actually supposed to be pretty thin. This light at the bottom here. So let me try pulling everything in here a little bit more. Given that this is a left head turn, and our head is turning to the left, I think it's okay for this highlight to be a little bit thicker on this side. Kind of makes sense. It's like we see a little bit more of the stuff on the left side when her head is turning this way, so it makes sense. There we go. Just straighten all that out, and we'll test it once I'm satisfied. Because I am definitely not yet. To get everything nice and smooth. Don't want it to be all crunchy and lumpy and gross. Just gotta get everything nice and smooth. Okay, so I think this is getting pretty close. I always have a little bit of trouble getting this area nice and straight. So I'm trying to get that through. Stayed up a little bit later than I should have yesterday. I was having too much fun drawing and lost track of time. And suddenly I was like, oh no, it's bedtime and now I'm not gonna get enough sleep. And it's okay, it was worth it. Getting pretty close to finishing my illustration for the Path to Nowhere Anniversary art contest, and so we'll see how that all goes once I'm able to post it. I did the dramatic lighting yesterday, and after filling in a few more things, I'm just like, wait, this is a little bit too much, isn't it? But it's okay, I set up the lighting in such a way that I can tone it down a little bit. So I'll be experimenting with that a little bit today too. Off stream, of course, but I have been recording the entire process, so I will be able to upload that footage as well once it's all done. Okay, well, it doesn't look terrible, so let's see how it moves. Alright, if I can get away with it, I want to adjust this dark spot, but I think everything else is looking pretty okay. Just as I said, if I can get away with it, because I'm not sure how that's going to look with this area over here. They are attached, which is perhaps a little bit unfortunate. My past self did not think that through very well. It's okay, it happens sometimes. All I can really do is keep it in mind for future rigs. Mesh stuff a little bit better. And then I can avoid some nightmares like this, where everything moves and half the time I don't know what's gonna happen. Keeps life exciting, you know? It looks like it's all coming together fairly well. I don't know, some parts of it still look a little bit strange to me, but a case of the idea is good, so I'm gonna keep poking at it, but I definitely need to do it better. I need to figure out how this should actually all go. What'll make it look good. And that means we're gonna do some trial and error today. I'm gonna try things, and I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna say, well, that doesn't look right. And then I'm gonna ask myself why. And hopefully, once I can answer that question, I'll have some good ideas on how to actually make all of this look nice. That's the hope, anyway. In this case, what I observed when I was going over there, or, you know, doing the last bit of movement there, was I felt like the highlight here was getting thinner, and I feel like with this angle, because our head is turning to the left, we should actually see more of it rather than less of it. So I'm gonna try to make it a little bit thicker and see if that makes everything look a little bit better. Just put a little bit of more thickness in that strand there. It's getting a little bit too skinny. Okay, we still got some lumps I gotta work out, but I want to see if I'm on the right track here. Yeah, I think so. That looks pretty good. And then maybe I could afford to let the bottom stick out just a little bit more. Like, it doesn't have to go all the way to the hair strand, but it can stick out as much as I want it to. And still make her hair look nice and fluffy. That was a pretty easy little fix, so I just want to get everything into place before I start cleaning all of this up. Looking closely at that corner, right down here, making sure I got that right and that everything is moving where I want it to go and all that good stuff. Feel like the very top of that shadow is moving a little bit too far up. So we're gonna pull him down just a little bit there. I think the little vertex is afraid of heights. So if I put him up too high, it's just gonna squirm, you know? Okay, yeah, there we go. That's good. Now I can just start getting everything nice and smooth. So that's going to be some of these shadow areas. And then I'll also adjust some of the areas around the highlight to get them a little bit straighter, and so that they don't kind of wrinkle in various places and just look incredibly silly. Okay. Let's see. So here I'm trying to figure out how to get this little curve where it goes from this kind of brown color to this slightly darker brown color. So right now I don't think it's curving nicely, and I want it to curve nicely. I think it'll look so much better when it's got this nice, gentle, sloping curve as opposed to the kind of, I don't know, boxy one that it has right now. Yeah, something like that. I think that's a lot better. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Let's see if it looks good in motion. I think I still want this to move out just a little bit more. Like, since I liberated myself from the confines of this strand, I apparently am just insisting on going a little bit too far away from it all. There we go, that looks better. They just move a little bit separately and kind of go do their thing. Let's look up here now. And then with any luck, once I have both the upward and the leftward, the upper left will just kind of come together. This doesn't always happen, but it's really nice when it does. It's very nice when it does. It saves me so much work. So even though it won't happen every time, I think it's worth giving it a chance. Seeing if maybe I get a little bit lucky today. And everything will just work itself out. So once again, I'm trying to get this outer curve going the way I want it. Just trying to make it as nice and floofy as possible. Gotta make her hair look super fluffy. Shalom's hair truly is super fluffy. And it's got that big old poof on the top there. Spending a little bit of time on the highlight too, just because that highlight is very, very important. Part of why it always trips me up so much. It's probably the most prominent thing on the back hair, so I like to make sure it looks nice, and everything about it is just a little bit more complicated than everything else in the back hair. Okay. So I think I got something going here. Let's smooth it out just a little bit there, make sure that all the big picture is in place. It's okay if it's a little bit wavy for the moment. I just want to make sure that everything is kind of coming in place, and right now it's not. It's definitely not. Okay, so let's see what's wrong. I'm completely changing the shape of the highlight here. I think that's what's wrong. It needs to kind of be shaped like this. I think I can get away with changing the shape a little bit, but that was a bit too much of wiggling. Shalom's hair should not be doing its best worm imitation. It should strictly be soft and fluffy and look like it's just kind of vaguely tilting upward. Or I guess in the case of the back hair, dropping back just a little bit. Okay, yep, that's a little bit better. So I think I can keep operating on those lines and just start pulling some of these other areas a little bit more down. In this case, I guess when I say pull them a little bit more down, I don't mean like dropping them further down. We're just altering this curve so it follows this curve a little bit. I can kind of use the curve of the strand of hair here to help me a little bit, but it looks like I changed it quite a bit here, so maybe I can't actually. It was a nice thought. That's why it's important to take a look at your surroundings. Some things sound really good in theory, but when you actually go look and you like use your eyes and your brain and see what's actually there, it's like, maybe not. Always important to actually think about what you're seeing. And look at what's actually there, and not what you want to be there, or what you think should be there. Because these are not always the same. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely if they were? Just the way if everything was exactly the way you thought it should be, always. Sounds wonderful. Like a very unrealistic pipe dream. Okay, so right now what I'm looking at is this dark area right here. I feel like since everything is moving down a little bit, that this one should move a little bit further down too. So I'm just kind of trying to lower this whole area just a little bit. Let it dip behind her coat. And then I need to just space out the rest of the vertices a little bit. But this way things don't get all stretched out and just look horribly uncomfortable. I imagine getting stretched out like that would just be terribly, terribly uncomfortable, so I tried to spare my poor little vertices of such things. So I just want them to have a good time in their new spots. Alright, I think once I floof out the end a little bit more, I think that'll look pretty good. Just gotta make some stuff through here just a little bit rounder. Just a little bit rounder like that. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. How are we looking in the upper left so far? Because I don't think I have back hair. Oh, I do have it set in there. Let's unset. Never mind. Let's not unset. It already looks better than it does in each of these other areas, so I'll just fix it on up when it comes time. Or rather, it doesn't look better in the other areas, but it does look better than the interpolated combination of the other areas. So I say, never mind. I'll just fix it up myself. It'll be fine. Okay, now all of this, I want to pull just a little bit closer to the strand. The highlight here. So we're going to pull all the vertices this way. And after that, we'll make everything look a little bit nicer, in theory. First, I want to make sure that I do indeed have all of this, like, going to the right place. Freeing myself from the constraints of that outer strand of hair is actually pretty nice, though. I'm not sure why I didn't try it sooner. I'm not sure what I was afraid of. Such things happen sometimes. Still, I kind of feel like I should be moving this a little bit more like the angle of this highlight needs to, like, drop a little bit. So it, like, comes down here and then turns. And I don't think I have that turn in there very well. So I want to try to get that turn in there just a little bit better here. And I think with that, it should match up with the neutral, just default turn a lot better. And then over here, all of this has been looking pretty good, so I'm just kind of straightening it out and making some of this look nice now. It's just right down here that I still feel like is a little bit squirmy. Okay, I think this is mostly alright. There's some kind of compression going on here. So I'm going to separate some of these vertices a little bit. I think it's okay that this top part here looks a little bit rounder than it did in the default turn there, just because I think I can just say that all of this part was covered up by hair on the default. And so I can kind of have it shaped in that area however I want it. Because sometimes your brain will just, like, fill in the gaps for whatever it couldn't see. And as long as I provide enough information for what it could look like under there, I think most brains will interpret whatever comes up as correct. So it's a case where I can just kind of get away with making stuff up. And whatever works should be fine. Because whatever comes out of there should look fairly convincing. As long as there's no nasty wrinkles, or stretching, or compression, or any of that stuff that just doesn't look good in hair. I think people will accept whatever I put there. Whatever comes up. For whatever reason, this area right through here, I'm having trouble getting de-wrinkled. I'm not sure why. Okay, well that was why. There's a little vertex kind of splitting this triangle in half for some reason. And I needed to push him back into a good spot, I suppose. Because now I think it looks okay. Because that little vertex was just feeling left out. Alright, at the bottom here, the angle of this is changing way too much. You can see it kind of just goes fairly straight over here, whereas I have it curving downward pretty hard. So even though I don't have to be constrained to the edge of this strand, I can allow myself to be if it makes sense. So I can break apart in a few areas. And for the areas where it does kind of make sense, like right through here I think it makes sense, I can just kind of have it rejoin. I think that should be fine. Like I said, today was going to be a bit of trial and error while I try to figure out what's wrong and what I can do to make it all look good. But I think I'm getting somewhere. I think it's all come together. I just gotta look carefully and have it follow all of the angles that I want it to. Yeah, I think that's looking much better. If anything, I'm moving it a little bit too far. Let's bring some of it back up. Just a little bit back up here. It's like I swear I moved that vertex down earlier today, but, you know, I guess it was wrong. That happens sometimes. But I kind of want it all to look like it's moving at roughly the same rate, and I felt like there it was moving a bit too much. Yeah, that's a bit better. Just trying to think very, very hard about where each of these pieces should go. I feel like it was moving back a little bit more than it should. So I'm gonna bring some of this back out and make it look more like it's dropping purely vertically. Whereas when I was looking at the movement before, it looked like it was kind of moving out to the side too. Still kind of does, honestly. So I think I'll just grab a brush and we'll just move this entire thing just a little bit over to the right, to the left. Less, the left. And then I'll try to get that straight angle back here. It does not have to rejoin with that strand, it's okay. That is what I learned yesterday. Honestly, I'm still kind of amazed that I had to explicitly learn that, as opposed to just having it be self-evident when the hair moved very strangely, but well, that's okay. Sometimes these thoughts just don't occur to me until later. And sometimes I'm just prone to overthinking some things, and for whatever reason, my brain was just so convinced that it could not be done. Brains are so silly, aren't they? They get all these crazy ideas. Alright, I think that's looking a lot better. Okay, I'll call that good, and I'll give this one last look. Does it look better? Like this? No. Okay, so we'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like that, and I'll just get everything back into place, where it should be. Alright, let's go in and clean all of this up. And I'm kind of hoping that with all that work I just did, everything will come together. And they can just meet up at the corner and all will be well. So for the most part, I feel like I just kind of need to smooth this out, and then once everything is smooth, then I can go back and start doing a little bit of testing to see where everything should be going. But the good news was, I didn't think that any of this looked like especially terrible or anything. So hopefully we'll just get all that done, and then I can do the shadows, and all will be well. Yeah, other than this, like, bottom part here, I think the rest looks fine. There's just some things around the bottom here that really need to be touched up. Right now I'm looking at this little shadow right here. It's a fairly solid little landmark for me to kind of go off of. Once again, I'm trying to get that sharp angle. That was in the hair right around that little shadow too. So something like that, maybe. And then I just want to get this little dark area right here to curve very nicely. Yeah, I think that's curving pretty decently. Let's test this out. Yeah, I think that's okay. Especially since half of it will be covered up. Well, I guess not half. Only a tiny portion of it will be. Okay. Still got a couple of areas I want to de-wrinkle, but now I can leave the front bang on, I think, or the side bang on, and get everything lining up that way. After all, that side bang will be in the final version, so I want it to be there while I make things look nice, as much as I can. Because if it doesn't look good with that bang there, then it's like, well, what's the point, right? So that bang needs to be there in the final version. It's a very important little bang. Very, very important. Spending a little bit of time, again, looking at this curve in this dark area here. Another place that's very important and that I apparently did not see the point in meshing very clearly. I guess I didn't think that the back hair would be moving that much. It's like, fair. It's not moving that much, but it's moving enough. It's moving enough that I probably should have made the mesh a little bit more detailed than I did. I think it would have saved me a few problems here and there. Probably more than a few, actually. It's okay, like I said, something to learn from. I won't make that mistake again. Detailed meshes forever. Unless I literally plan to use it using the transforms only. Detailed meshes. Don't laze out. And if I do decide to... Or if I think that I'm only going to use the transforms and then I change my mind, you make a detailed mesh. Even if you made a mesh before, you delete it and you make a detailed mesh. I'm going to have to remind myself of that every time I get lazy. But it's okay. Pain is a very effective teacher. Every time I get lazy, I just need to remind myself of this experience and I'll just be like, yes, detailed mesh. No laziness allowed. Never. Let's see, that's still pretty squirmy right here. Do I need to move it a little bit further to the side? It looks like I do. Let us consult the mesh. See if it has any good wisdom for us today. It might not. Meshes like this tend to have a bit less wisdom than I would like. But I think this one had a little bit here, and it's like, remind yourself, you're going down. This part of the hair is going down, like, physically moving lower. Don't forget that. Should probably actually line up the vertical part with what's over here. Yeah, that actually already does look a little bit better. What about over here? Let's make this a little bit thicker, and we'll just try to send this darker gray part behind her coat like that. I'm just having a little bit of trouble moving some of these parts here. So I'm afraid if I do that, it's just gonna squirm really hard again, but let's try it. Let's see what happens. Should be fine. I think I just need to actually straighten out some of this. I think if I send the angle of this particular strand more in the direction it needs to go, which is over here, then that should help a little bit. I think that's still going to look pretty squirmy though. No, it's actually pretty okay. Okay, so I'm on the right track here. Let's just try to pull some of this other stuff into the right place then. Might need to move the bang again just so I can get a better idea of what I'm doing. But I'd like to keep it in there if I can. As funny as Bald Shalom is, it's like I do intend for her to have all of her hair by the end, so... yeah, let's hide it for just a second here, while I straighten out this part right here. The little spot that's just underneath. Alright, something like that good? It's quite close. I think if I make this little shadow look like it's sinking down underneath the coat a little bit better, then everything will look right. For a second there, it just looked like it was shrinking a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's a lot better. Let's see if everything else is lining up the way I want it to. Little lump there. Little bitty lump there. There we go, something like that. Okay, yeah, I think I can be happy with that. Doesn't look too squirmy, and I think with physics that will be perfect. Let's do the head shadows now. So I want to take a good look at how they look through here. I'm going to start with the ones on this side because I feel like it. So I think that it should be a little further back. Let me also line it up with how I did it on the left head turn. And then we'll see a little bit more of the shadow from over here. I assume that's roughly how I did it here. Okay, a little bit more shadow at the top. Keeping that eye very shadowed and looking very ominous. Yeah, sounds about right. Very important for Shalom to look vaguely ominous. Honestly, that was one thing I kind of appreciated about her interrogation. Of just how utterly suspicious she looked at the beginning. Even though she did not once lie to you. Like, she wasn't even being misleading. I guess the closest part that she might have been misleading about was when she said, yes, we were friends. It's like, well, maybe not exactly. Maybe that was just cope. Maybe she just really wanted to be friends. But, other than that, everything else is pretty accurate. And I just thought that was a great, subversion of expectations. It made me pretty happy. Because they really do set her up to just be this absolutely terrifying lying liar. And, not the case. Well, I mean, yes, the case, but not the case for what she was doing with Chief. Honestly, it's the kind of thing that keeps bringing me back, in terms of writing quality. Just all those little things where if they set something up, there's generally a payoff, and the payoff in hers was fantastic. Very, very well done. It's one of the ones that I was very happy to read, so. Interrogations, I feel like, vary a lot in quality, but nah, hers was excellent. This reminds me when I finish my illustration and have free time again. I need to get around to reading Sean's. I have heard it's funny, but mostly it's because I've reached 80% compliance with her. And I need to do that in order to be able to see anymore. Or be able to get any more compliance. So hers is going to be next on my list. In terms of the ones that I actually want to go and read, I think Eve's is next on my list. Just because I'm kind of curious to see how they continue her story. Because, man, I swear I gush about her event a lot. The beginning was, I don't know, it was okay. Didn't really do anything especially interesting for me, but just the ending. On how everybody only had a good life because they were lying to her. That was pretty incredible. The delivery on that, I loved it so much. And it still sticks in my mind. So that's why I really, really want to do hers. But I suppose I'll do Sean's first, just so I can resume getting compliance on her. I don't really like the compliance missions, if I'm being honest. It's like, let me get my shiny numbers, please. Especially the weird ones. Like, I still remember having to take Horo on a Eternal Nightmare run just because, game was like, use her ultimate 10 times, and I'm like, why though? I don't even have her leveled up. I guess it did get me to do another Eternal Nightmare run, so maybe that's victory for the mechanic, but I don't know, man. I feel like gacha games had all these weird mechanics that really don't have any business being there, just they just kind of feel like busy work. I wonder if it's kind of based on the IKEA effect, or the idea that if you work towards something, if you're like building something yourself, then it's it makes you feel better than if it was just given to you. So I guess I could believe that. Another case of brains are very strange, and humanity has figured out a lot about them. But the most important bit being how to manipulate the brain in order to make someone want to give you money. Humanity has figured out a lot about how to do that. It's not even funny, it's terrifying, man. I'll never recover from having studied marketing. Alright, so far so good. But just lining everything up with the tips of her bangs there. When I look at this mesh, I get a little bit sad, because I remember that I had a vision. And it just was not meant to be. It did not work, so I won't do that again. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if I had just made this mesh simple and easy to move around? Mistakes were made, but it's okay, because I will learn. It won't make that mistake again. Okay. Think we're good there. Alright, let's put on the body shadows. It's like with as little as I had to move the stuff around here, I'm really hoping that I just do not have to do anything. Oh, heck yeah. I have to do nothing. And this means the upper left head turret is done, and I can swing her head around and it'll look okay. Hooray! As long as I stay in this coordinate, or quadrant, rather, everything is fine. Hooray! I'm a save. Alright, so I guess this means I'll be spending the rest of today just going through and picking out some of the low-hanging fruit in here, because there's a lot of just weird crunchiness just everywhere. So I'll work out some of that first before I do anything else. Oh man, look at those poor vertices. They don't know what's going on, man. What even is this? Okay. Well, that's alright. Time to start the upper right. 1 down, 3 to go. Let's do this. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to finish this one by the end of the month. So I'm not going to try too hard to get, like, everything into the right place or anything. I'm just gonna kind of start getting the general idea of where I think things are gonna go. And just get rid of some of those weird folds that I know would distract me from really being able to dig into all of this. Because, yeah, some of that's, like, look at this. What the heck happened? Interpolation, what are you thinking? I think you might be drunk. Go home. So yeah, just trying to get at least the vertices kind of untangled and make it so they at least have some idea of what they're doing, you know? It's like, man, they're just looking so confused. Okay. But so far, so good. So far, so good. Oh boy. Well, okay, that's gonna take a second to figure out. So, what I want to do is make sure that none of these triangles here are like crossing each other. Because if that happens, there's gonna be it's gonna like be pulling the pixels over each one, and trust me, it just looks weird. Like look what happens when I do it like this. Like things start getting weird. And once I have these kind of untangled, I'll have a better idea of where everything actually is. Oh boy. Yeah, okay. But they're coming apart. Fortunately, most of this is hidden, so I probably could have left it like that, but it would have left me horribly confused the whole time. So I think just taking a few minutes to kind of undo that knot will actually save me time in the long run. Alright, let's start making sure that everything here is underneath this strand. Naturally, it's going to be highly, highly compressed. But at the very least, I know where each vertex is and what it connects to. Yeah, there we go. Let's just keep pulling them together. They're gonna give the biggest group hug ever. It's like, look at that. They're all just nice and cozy. All tucked in together. They have to be super, super thin and squished. Alright, there we go. There we go. Now let's get rid of some of the stuff that's kinda peeking through this spot here. And then I'll straighten some things back here. Make sure that there's no, like, ultra squishy, crunchy nonsense going on here, but no, things look pretty okay up here. This one, though, this one has some problems. This one has some problems that we're gonna have to work out here. This one's like super wavy. Now there's like a big hole underneath it, oh my. Gonna have to get the underneath hair into the right place for that. And floof things out here just a little bit. Because there's... I don't know, it's confused about something here, so... Try to fix some of that. And I know I'm gonna have to go back and touch up a lot of this later. For now, I'm just kind of hoping that doing some of this will make it so it doesn't bother me so much. And I don't just see all this random squirming and random holes like this while I'm trying to look at other things. Like I said, just going for low-hanging fruit, doing just a quick pass to get the worst of it all figured out. Try to get a nice curl here and okay. Okay, so a lot of things are still looking pretty bad. But I at the very least feel like I have the worst of it out. So hopefully tomorrow I'll just be able to dig right into these, you know, the front bang and this spot right through here. The areas that I always like to start with. The rest is looking considerably less bad. Yeah. And I'll worry about, like, back hair stuff later. Let me just take a quick look at how things are moving so far. Give me an idea of what I want to fix. Yeah, things aren't going too badly. Now I'm just taking a look at how I feel about her jawline. But I think it's good. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, lots to clean up, but I don't actually feel like it's that bad. So yes. Here's the challenge for me. Finish up a right head turn before the end of the month. Lower one's gonna be a bit of an adventure. But I think I can do the upper one. This one doesn't look like it's gonna be too bad. It was looking pretty scary at first, but now I think I can manage. I just keep looking at, like, her cheek right through here. And I keep wondering if that is correct. But I think it is. I think I might just need to move her side hair a little bit. But I think that's going to be something that I do once it's time to actually really dig in to all of this stuff. Okay, but I think I will do that tomorrow. And I will end here for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice. I will take a look, maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.